How we doing, folks? Andre Pillow, player development professional at Blythefield Country Club and founder of DNA Golf Instruction. I'm outside, and I'm so happy to be outside. I was happy and fortunate enough to be able to turn my living room into a studio for you for a while, but I'm feeling much better out here in this open space now that Michigan has opened up golf courses. But I wanted to talk to you today about warming up and your range sessions and making sure that you're not killing yourself psychologically or expecting too much on those first couple of range sessions. So what I recommend coming out, don't grab your driver as your first club, of course. I recommend starting off with a wedge. And like most tour players, maybe even starting off with a half a wedge. Hitting a couple of shots, getting a feel for the golf club again, remembering how you want to move, and kind of getting a feel for swinging a golf club. A lot of us haven't done that in the last 3 or 4 months, especially in the Midwest. Once I get that feel, I'll go into some long swings with that wedge, okay? The whole idea is that we want to gradually work up through the progression of our golf clubs there, and we want to have a very free and open mind, only focusing maybe on 1 or 2 things. We can't shoot our best round ever on a range session. We're only out here to develop some things, build those feels early on so that we continue on. Now, after I finish hitting some wedges, I may go to a pitching wedge or 9-iron, same thing, hitting some full shots, and now I'm actually aiming at a target. Don't really care about distance, going over that target or being short of it, but I want to get my body orientated to my golf ball and also to my target line, and hitting a few full shots with a 9 or a pitching wedge helps me with that. Now, I'll skip some clubs and I'll go to what I call my working club. For me, that is my 7-iron. I think that most of us should use a mid-iron, either an 8 or a 7-iron, to do most of our warm-up and range work. It's a club that sits right in the middle of our full set progression, and it's a great neutral club for us to work on something that's going to affect our golf swing despite the club that we use. We have some forgiveness because there's an element of loft. With that driver, guys, that's the longest club in our bag with the least amount of loft. So it's not a very forgiving club. We're not going to hit a lot of those with success, especially early on, and especially if we're pulling that out as the first club. So I'll hit a series of mid-irons. Maybe I'll go from my 7 to my 6. But once again, I'm working on just trying to keep my body aligned correctly, get a feel for my target, and remember how to swing a golf club for the new season. Okay? After I'm done with that mid-iron work, I'll go up to a 4 or a 3-iron. For most of my novices and amateurs, I like using a 5-iron. Once again, a little bit more forgiving element there. But I'll go to my 3 or my 4. And for me, longer club, nothing changes with how I'm swinging. The club may get a little further out for me, but my setup should be the same. And I'm working on tempo and still trying to work on accuracy and getting a feel for the golf club. As you can see, I'm gradually working my way up. Now, after I hit those 3-irons, sometimes I go to the driver and tee it up. Sometimes I go to a hybrid or a 5-wood. I don't really care. And the whole thing with you is that you're making a slow progression up to those longer clubs, and that we're building up slowly, and that we're keeping our expectation down. Okay? So, last club that I'll pull out will be that driver. And in that practice session, I'm working on my ball position, because as we know, we want to have our setup. We want to make sure that our driver is played off of our front inner heel. But we don't want that club to get too far ahead of us. So ball position is very, very important. And I'm still working on the same things. Fundamentals of my golf swing, 1 or 2 swing thoughts that I remember from previous years. But I'm not putting a lot of pressure on myself. I'm learning. This is a learning session. Later on, we'll talk about how we warm up before we play and some ways to gear ourselves up for success that way. But for a typical range session, start off with a wedge, hitting half wedges, developing a feel for the golf club, get into some full wedges, start hitting some mid-irons after that, some full swings, thinking about your target awareness, work up to a 5, 4, 3-iron, then think about those woods or maybe hitting your driver at the tail end. This is a progression that most good players go through when they're on the range. We all know it's easier to hit that shorter club with loft rather than pulling out that long stick with no loft and expecting to have a lot of success. Okay? So hopefully that helps you with your first few range sessions, and look out for more videos from Andre and DNA Golf Instruction. Thanks for watching.